Welcome. Welcome to Spooky Time, chat. Where we're here to tell scary stories in the dark. I hope you're ready for today's scary story. I hope it goes well. I hope these words that I've put down on this page frighten you just a little bit, but not too much, chat. Not too much. Are you ready? You awake in a dark room. The pounding in your head disorients you, and you suddenly realize you don't recognize where you are. You start to glance around, but quickly realize there is very little light to help you determine where you might be. You quickly attempt to remember back to the night before, but everything is so foggy. You glance down, and to your surprise, your hands are bound tight with rope. How would you not notice that before? Fear grips you as you realize something terrible has happened. Just then, you hear a loud scream from somewhere close, immediately followed by a wet thud, which ceases the screaming. You have to get out of wherever you are, now. Struggling to stand, you try to make it to what appears to be a window, but to your dismay, you see that the windows in the room have all been boarded shut tightly. You squint your eyes to try and see better in the dark and regret it instantly when you see disembodied torso in a chair not 3 feet away from you. You hold your bound hands over your mouth to stifle both a scream and the bile quickly working its way up your throat. Whoever put you here might not know you've regained consciousness yet, and hopefully you can use that to your advantage. You are still struggling to remember what happened the night before. You'd been out at the bar, largely keeping to yourself like any other night. It's all a blur after that. Slowly creeping around the room, looking for anything to help you, you see what appears to be a pile of clothes. Thinking there may be a key or a phone, you start to go through the pile, only to realize it isn't a pile of clothes, it's a pile of human skin. The bile that you have been holding back suddenly rushes from your mouth as you're unable to hold it back any longer. You still attempt to be as quiet as possible as you empty your stomach. Who could do this to someone? You decide looking for a phone is probably out of the question. And you are petrified at the prospect of what could be coming your way. You continue feeling around the room until you find a doorknob. There's no way this is going to be unlocked, you think to yourself, as you prepare for the worst. To your surprise, the knob turns easily in your hand. Slowly, you push open the door and peek out into the dark hallway. You don't see anyone or anything, and you decide to use this chance to get away. You slowly start to creep towards what appears to be stairs going towards a lower floor. All of a sudden, you hear what sounds like a large amount of chains dragging along a wooden floor. You quickly look back and immediately regret it. Behind you stands a thin figure draped in what appears to be human flesh, dragging a chain covered in what is most definitely blood. In the figure's other hand is a blood-covered axe. That would explain the wet thud you heard earlier and all the blood drains from your face. You immediately start to sprint for the stairs, but you hadn't noticed the pool of blood at your feet, and you slip and crack your head on the banister. Everything starts to go dark as the figure approaches you. You awake once again in the room you had been in before. However, this time you were bound with chains to a chair. You hear wet squelching sounds from nearby, and your mind starts to race with what horror is about to befall you. You attempt to glance around, but something is holding you completely in place. The little movement you can manage shakes the chains you're bound in, and you hear the mysterious figure start to quickly move your way. The figure is immediately inches from your face, silently staring as if looking deep into your soul. Even if you weren't cursed with horrible social anxiety, this would be terrifying, and you have no idea what to do. Just then, the figure tilts its head and you hear a slow whisper. "We have to make sure you don't try and run away again." Slowly it bends down and you see the glint of a blade as it leans forward, and without a second thought, it slices clean through your Achilles tendon, first on your right leg and then on your left leg. You scream in utter agony as the figure chuckles to itself. You can't even begin to think of what you have done to deserve this. You don't even talk to people when you're out and about in the first place. Why are you doing this? You weakly manage to get out. "Why?" the figure repeats back as it tilts its head. "Why not?" You don't even know what to make of that answer, but you assume that it wouldn't matter even if you did. You can already see the figure slowly start to lift up the axe above its head. This is what you get for going out and trying to be normal. You go to the bar for one drink and end up being kidnapped by a psychopath. Touch grass, they said. See what good that did for you? This is the last thought in your head as the axe quickly begins to fall, smashing cleanly with a wet squelch as it buries deep in your skull. The end.